Hello from the Secret Store Central Bunker inside of Rentschler Field. This is Aman Kidwai, joined by Graham Chamberlain. The Huskies just beat Ball State 31-25. Graham, maybe a game that was a little bit closer than expected. Great performances from Cam Edwards, 24 carries for 194 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Skyler Bell, 14 receptions for 113 yards and the touchdown. That might be where the good news ends. Graham, how are you feeling after this win at Rentschler Field, UConn's first against an FBS team this season?
I mean, not great. It's still good to get a win. I'm never, ever going to say, it's bad that they won. But, we mentioned, last week, coming off the Delaware loss, Ball State is one of the, statistically, analytically, however you want to look at it, worst teams in FBS. And this had all the makings of a get-right game for UConn. And, for a little bit, it looked like maybe it was going to happen. They jumped out to a 10-0 lead in the first quarter, and it seemed like they were going to be in control of it. And then we got some stagnation offensively, a little bit of blips in the defense here and there. There was a 53-yard pass, just a screen that turns into 53 yards. That led to the first touchdown for Ball State, and you just never really felt super comfortable today. The passing game really never got into a good rhythm aside from Bell. I mean, he's 60-ish yards, I think, for the other receivers. Half of that came on a great catch by John Nider to get down to the goal line. It just wasn't an effective passing game today, and certainly credit to Ball State for the ability to do that. To limit the Husky receivers and to, for a while also limit the run game. They were, around 4 yards a clip for a while until, Edwards really broke out those last 2 runs. But it makes you wonder about the rest of the way. And if this is what it's going to look like against one of the worst FBS teams, if that ends up being true at the end of the season, what do you...
Concerned.
What else do you feel good about? I don't know.
You have to be concerned. You go into the game with concerns around the defense. You do not get that fixed. Ball State had more first downs, finished with more total yards, more yards per play. I think, yes, it's good for UConn to get the win, of course. UConn looked like it was outplaying them early, I felt, but then kind of loses grip of it in the second quarter and across the early parts of the third. You start to see UConn pulling away, like we said, right? It becomes a 2-score lead in the third quarter. But really, it takes a lot of fourth down conversions. It takes multiple big plays from Cam Edwards. The offense does not look super in sync. I think it's good that they converted those fourth downs. Yeah. Of course, you had 2 through the air from Fagnano on a touchdown drive. They were 5 for 5 on the day from fourth down, which is good, but you don't want that to be what you need to beat Ball State by 6 points at home. So, unfortunately, I leave also this game with some concerns about the offense because Fagnano was not so efficient. And then if someone can keep Cam Edwards in line or Skyler Bell, then you have also UConn's offense in check, and it's going to be a bad day for the Huskies.
Yeah. Agree with all of that. I think it was all about the defense after last week. It's all we talked about because they put up 41 points, including 38 in regulation. And you'd think at the very least they could do that again this week. We've mentioned it a ton, you and I. They should have the advantage against these kinds of teams up front, on the line of scrimmage, offensive line. But we saw that against Delaware. They had trouble converting short yardage. They had trouble today converting short yardage as well. There was one drive. It was aided by a late hit on Fagnano, but it was about to be fourth down, and they were about to not get another touchdown again.
Yeah.
I believe that was the one where Terrence Smith nearly fumbled the ball. Luckily, he had crossed the goal line. He did fumble, but he already crossed the plane. And it's just it's just an immense departure from what it used to be, where you could always count on this offensive line to help get a yard. And it's not Edwards. I mean, he's got, you watch these guys just load up the box, and he just has nowhere to go. And I think that's just how it's going to be for this season. So knowing that, you're going to have to, we count on Fagnano now to convert. And like I said at the outset, there's not a lot of help today outside of Skyler Bell.
Yeah. You got 2 receptions from Raymelo Murphy. That was UConn's next best receiver. 2 receptions for 6 yards. Shamar Porter had 1 for 33. John Nider had that 1 for 26. An amazing one-handed catch on a 4th down as well. But yeah, I mean, you need more out of the passing game. The running game was, trudging along. But like you said, needs to create more space, needs more guys involved there, right? Mel Brown is out.
Yep.
We're wondering who's going to step up. You're thinking Victor Rosa, Oliver Lundberg Coleman, maybe Ty Bowman. Jim Morris said Ty Bowman. They lost him in the game due to injury. Coleman and Rosa combined for 4 carries for 9 yards. So we did not see much from running backs not named Cam Edwards. And so, again, if you're a defense scouting UConn going forward, you go, okay, Cam Edwards is a problem. Okay, Skyler Bell is a problem. But the O-line is not super strong. The quarterback can be forced into making bad throws. And, we've got some notes on this offense too now. So UConn is on the road against Buffalo next week. The Bulls just lost to Troy at home in a close one.
Yep.
But I think for the Buffalo game and the FIU game the following week, when the Huskies are back at home at the Wren, we're expecting challenging games here. I think that's what you got to expect.
And they're really important games, too. You mentioned Buffalo, just a collapse against Troy. They're up 14-0 going into the 4th. They give up 21 points. They lose. Our old friend Taquan Roberson struggled today. I think he had 105 yards. Got injured, was out for the end of the game. So obviously we'll be keeping an eye on who will be at quarterback next week for Buffalo. But, that's a stout defensive team. And they're going to be cued in on Edwards and Bell. And unlike Ball State, I think they actually have some guys that can keep them in check. So someone else has to step up. And especially at running back, I just get the sense that the staff is not comfortable or confident in any of these guys. I mean, it's a prime opportunity for Rosa. He gets a couple carries. They obviously didn't see enough or see something in those couple of carries. I just don't think that Cam Edwards is the kind of back that is a real workhorse back. He runs so hard, and he's just going to wear himself down. I think you saw that a little bit today, and he still turned it on at the end. But, there's a lot more games to go.
Yeah.
We got 8 more games, and he can't continue to do 20, 25 carries a game. He's just not that kind of back. So someone else has to step up. And unfortunately, we haven't seen enough of anybody really to make any determination and say, this guy should be getting more carries, this one should. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, right. We can't make a case for anyone. On the other side of that, nobody has made a case for themselves.
Right.
You know, and even, the carries today, you got 2 for Terrence Smith, 3 for Rosa, 1 for Coleman. Again, Morris said that Bowman was part of the game plan, and then they did not have him. They also didn't have Juice Vereen today due to injury, he was injured last week. They thought he might be back. Turns out he was not. So, those are some guys, but there's enough else out there. It's more about, are these guys finally, who are they being schemed to be open? Some of these other guys, and then is the quarterback getting them the ball when and if they are?
Yeah.
So we'll have to review the film ourselves. To do that, we'll be, of course, hitting the film room for a while this weekend to make those determinations. We're already 1/3 of the way through the season. The Huskies are 2-2 after beating Ball State. They'll be at Buffalo next weekend for a 3:30 kickoff. Thank you all for watching.